Are you listening? All of our body is all connected. So when one part of us believes that something's true, all of us believe it's true. It's true. No pun intended. Welcome back, friends. We're going to be talking about our overactive nervous system and how once we learn what it is and what it does to our bodies, we can then be the ones in charge. We can take back control of our bodies. We can use our will. We can be happy and not have to have all this fear. So there's two parts of our nervous system. Do you guys know what those are? Those are our sympathetic and parasympathetic. So our sympathetic nervous system is the thing that is causing all the trouble. The sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight response. Remember how I said that our thoughts go directly to thoughts of danger? We need to get out of our sympathetic nervous system into our parasympathetic nervous system. Our parasympathetic nervous system is the nervous system that is our friend. Oh, this wants to be my friend too. It is going to help us to be able to be calm and relaxed and realize that when we're not actually in danger, that lion is not actually running after us, then we can be in a peaceful state. So we are going to talk about how we can get from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, we do need to tell ourselves that we're not in danger, but the problem is we won't always believe that that is going to work because we have had years and years and years of being scared over something. So we need to now convince ourselves that it works. Now, it does work. And once we can show ourselves that it does work, we will start to believe it, and there will be no going back because we'll just believe it. We'll have a lot of hindsight in our court. But we need to get there. We need to get to where we're going to believe it. So there's little work to do. So what do we have to do to get there? To get out of our sympathetic nervous system to our parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, here's a few ideas to get there. First of all, we need to understand our will. Our will is a part of us. Okay, some people call it like a soul, but it's part of us that lets us choose what we're going to do. Our brain is like a big old computer, and it needs to be told what to do. And oftentimes our bodies will tell our brain what to do. The outside environment will tell our brain what to do. So what we need to do is we need to realize that we are in charge of our will. And so we need to type in the commands. We need to tell it what to do. We need to know what we can tell our will to do. Can we tell our will not to be afraid? No. Okay, so we are not in control of what we feel. So let's talk about what we are in control of. We are in control of what we think, okay? Does that mean that we are always going to think the thoughts that we want to think? No, because our outside environment, the food that we ate today, or what we dreamt last night is going to come into effect. And we constantly have thoughts coming into our head, constantly. We're not in control of that, so don't feel too bad about those things. But what we do have control of is, are we going to let those thoughts stay? Now, you've probably heard this analogy before, but thoughts are like a little bird that come and land on our head. That's okay. What we need to do, though, is shoo that bird away. Are we going to let that bird come and make a nest on the top of our head? Oh, no. If we do that, that little bird that just came in is going to be telling us what to think. We don't want to let that little bird stay and build a little nest. So we need to have our own thoughts so that we can shoo that bird away. Our will says yes or no to our impulses and our thoughts. Okay? It can't say no to our feelings because we're not in control of our feelings. Feelings come and go like breath. They come and go. All sorts of feelings all throughout the day. And if you have an overactive imagination because of your overactive nervous system, you get to have all sorts of feelings coming all day. Lucky you. I've had them my whole life, so I feel for you if you have them too. So, with these feelings, what do we do so that we don't have to keep feeling afraid? Okay, I'm going to tell you a secret. Are you listening? All of our body is all connected. So when one part of us believes that something's true, All of us believe it's true. It's true. No pun intended. And you could think of it like this. Fist, okay? Feelings, impulses, sensations, and thoughts. Woo! When we learn what we actually control with our fist, feelings, impulses, sensations, thoughts, we're going to be able to take back our life. Let me show you how. Feelings only come and go very quickly. They're of a short duration. You may ask, well, I feel fear all the time. That is because we are attaching something more than a feeling to that feeling, and that's temper. And we'll talk about that in a later video, but that is some good information to know. So keep an eye out for that. Let's say I'm walking to school and I pass the doghouse. Everybody has a doghouse on their street or on their block, right? Well, I pass the doghouse and those dogs, they just come yipping and yapping at me and they freak me out on my way to school. And I'm maybe like 9. Okay, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to automatically feel a ton of fear. But one thing that I know for sure is that those dogs are always in that gate and they have never gotten out of the gate. So I actually know that they're not going to come out of that gate because of what we learned in our last video. What is one of the ways that we don't have to feel so much fear and trembling when we hear those dogs and when we see them coming up to the gate rushing at us? We can attach a feeling of security. So rather than letting the sympathetic nervous system do its thing and put us into fight or flight, we can tell ourselves that we are safe and we can return to the calm and resting state of the parasympathetic nervous system by simply telling ourselves that we are safe, that this is scary. It is. So we need to acknowledge that it is scary, but it's not dangerous. Now, if the dogs could get out, that would be dangerous, but this isn't that. They can't get out. So it's not dangerous. Okay, so just tell yourself that in your mind and see how you feel. Do you feel different? Yeah, you're already starting to let your thoughts take back control. Now, they're not going to change your feelings, but remember how I told you that everything was connected? The fist? If we do one thing, everything else follows suit. Well, when our thoughts tell our body that we're safe, our feeling will come of fear or of startling or of surprise or of worry that the dog's going to get out. There's all sorts of feelings we might feel, and that's perfectly normal. So feel them. Let them come, feel them, recognize them, and then watch them as they float away. When you don't attach a vicious cycle, meaning temper, to these feelings, guess what will happen? They will float away. Their duration will be short and sweet. No, not always sweet, but they will be short. And after a while, I'm starting to feel some sweetness in some of my feelings because I'm realizing that that's all that they are, is feelings. And they don't control me the way that they used to. I'm no longer getting all these sensations like a beating heart and my body sweating and this heat in my stomach and I no longer get these impulses to run away from a situation or to leave a party before people think, oh my gosh, she really is weird. So I think, oh, I better go before, they know the real me. So once you start to realize it's just a feeling, it's going to feel uncomfortable for a minute, but that's okay. We are lucky. We get to have a body. We get to know what these feelings feel like. So maybe we can be more empathetic to other people, and maybe we can know in the future what we want and what we don't want. We remember that the feeling will just come and go if we don't attach a feeling of danger and if we don't let it get worked up to temper, so we don't have a vicious cycle. All of a sudden, hi, doggy, hi. You can't do anything to me because I realize I don't have to be afraid. And you were never doing anything to me in the beginning, but I didn't know that. And these feelings of my heart racing or the avoidance of going this way, the fear of even thinking of going this way, and the feelings of lying in bed and worrying about going this way to school, they're going to start to fade away because we're going to realize we don't have to be afraid of that path anymore to go to school because the dogs aren't going to get us and we are safe. We cannot control our feelings. We need to let them come and go. But our impulses is number 2. And our impulses we can control. So we're going to use our thoughts. We're going to think in terms of safety. And we're going to tell ourselves, I'm not going to run from this house. Impulse is to run. My impulse is not to go this way, but I'm going to show myself that I'm not afraid. So in the night when I'm starting to have a panic attack about school in the morning, I'm going to say, I can do this and I'm going to walk that path. I'm going to actually believe that I'm going to be safe. Maybe you could tell yourself, I'm not going to run. I'm going to plant my feet on the ground and I'm going to show my body that I'm not afraid. Because if I show my body that I'm not afraid, guess what? It's going to believe it. So as we start to have a feeling and we start to feel that surprise, that worry, our body is feeling worried, right? There's nothing we could do about that. But we are not in danger, that this is scary, but it's not at all dangerous. Then we're going to be able to tell our impulses, just stick tight, don't move, because we need to prove to our body that we're not scared. And a miracle happens after that. Our body actually believes it. Woohoo! The other part of the fifth system is sensations. So sensations are just pretty much the byproduct of all of our feelings, and we can't do anything about sensations. But we actually can when we use our thoughts, because we know that thoughts will control the whole system and it will help us to not have so many bad sensations. So in the story of the dog, we talked about some of the sensations, like maybe where we feel like we can't breathe, like maybe our throat is closing up. Some people have that. Some people have where they feel like they're having a heart attack, like an actual heart attack, because their heart is beating so fast. Sensations can range from small to very large. And so what we really want to do is we want to be able to tell ourselves that we're safe so that these sensations don't even have to come. But sensations are an important part of the sympathetic nervous system. If we really are being chased by a dog or a lion or anything bad, if there is a disaster or something that we really are in danger of, we need the sympathetic nervous system so that we will run, and those sensations are valid, right? But in everyday life, over trivial matters, not so much. We really don't need to be feeling horrible sensations of not being able to breathe or of having a heart attack. One of the feelings I feel is if I'm driving in a car and I start to wrap a feeling of insecurity around a situation, like even a simple situation, like I can't stop on this ice, then all of a sudden I feel like I'm going down a roller coaster. Any movement in the car just makes me like, ooh. So I don't like that feeling. And so I figured out how to tell myself I'm safe while I'm on the car ride so that I won't have to feel that feeling. Now, it doesn't always work. Remember in my last video, I said we're always going to have to work on this. We're always going to have these feelings come to us because we're always going to have an overactive nervous system. We're always going to have an overactive nervous system. But once we know how to deal with that and how to recognize what is happening, we will be able to take control back of our lives. So the last part in the fist is thoughts. And we know after talking a lot about it today that we can control our thoughts. Let's remind ourselves: feelings, impulses, sensations, and thoughts. Thoughts we can control. We can control absolutely. And we're going to use it to tell our will yes or no. Is it dangerous? Is it not dangerous? And most of the time, we are going to tell ourselves that we're safe and that it is not dangerous. And that way we can move from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. In a future video, we are going to talk about spotting, and it's going to be very soon because this is very important. Spots are a set of phrases to help us so that we can think safety, security, and they work. Let me tell you, they work. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.